Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Wareham Planning Board meeting of Monday, May 18, 2026. The time is 6 p.m. and we are located in the Multi-Service Center in room 520 at 48 Marion Road, Wareham, Massachusetts. We're also available online with a Zoom link, and which you can get the link through the agenda that's on the town website, and we are also on Wareham Media. So I will start with a call to order and a roll call. Starting with Carl, who's online.
Present.
And
I'm here.
Hi. Hopefully somewhere good. And we're missing Mike Baptiste. He may
Julie
be on
Moran
his
here.
way.
Sam Corbett here.
And Jane Gleason here.
Who's the other person?
And I believe that Josh Faraday, the town planner, is on his way. He texted and said he would be a few minutes late. So we'll get going with preliminary business. The first item is the approval of meeting minutes from our May 11, 2026 meeting, which I don't believe were distributed for review.
Agreed.
So we will postpone the vote on those until our next meeting, which is on June 8th. No, excuse me. Yes, June 8th.
June 8th, yep.
The next item 2 is discussion and possible vote to recommend Sam Corbett for reappointment to the Wareham Planning Board. I will entertain a motion to recommend favorable action on Sam's
Whether he likes it
reappointment.
or not. Yes, I move to recommend and reappoint Sam Corbett for reappointment to the Wareham Planning Board.
Can I get a
Second.
second?
Second.
Thank you. And do we need any discussion? I don't think so. But I will.
Madam Chair, can we move all three motions once? I don't see any.
That's a great
I
idea.
have no objection.
Okay,
Okay, we could do that.
yep.
I actually was biding my time waiting for Josh to come.
Oh.
And
Well,
for
keep
Judy,
going then.
for
Keep going.
Judy
I'm
Barrett
sorry.
to
I'm not,
come.
I'm not trying to rush you. No.
Okay. Well, and Judy Barrett has said that she would be here about 7, so. All right, so we'll continue one at a time. Here's Josh walking in the door right now. Hello.
Okay,
And here's Phil Cordero as well from A&M. So we have Josh in the house and we have Phil in the house. So we're just voting on Sam's reappointment, and I will take a vote. Carl?
Aye.
Julie Moran, aye.
Aye.
And Jane Gleason, aye. So 401 in favor.
Okay. I move to reappoint Sam Corbett as the Planning Board representative to the Community Preservation Committee.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Julie Moran, aye.
Sam Corbett, aye.
And Jane Gleason, aye.
Okay. Finally, a motion to reappoint Sam Corbett as the Planning Board representative to the Capital Planning Committee.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Julie Moran, aye.
Sam Corbett, aye.
And Jane Gleason, aye. So 401.
0.
Favor. Yes, sorry. Is that better? We have no continued public hearings this evening, but we have 2 public hearings. We have, starting with item 5 on the agenda, 26-4 for 16 Broad Street, a Form C application. Do we have any representatives here for that project?
Okay.
Do you want to come to the table?
Madam Chair, don't forget to open the public, read the notice and
Yes.
open public meeting.
Yep.
So I need to open it, and do we need to vote on opening it?
Yeah, I think you want to read it first?
Okay.
No,
Yeah,
yes,
we'll need a motion to open
Yeah.
and a
Yeah,
vote.
do we do that before?
After you read it.
Yeah.
Okay. So notice of public hearing, the Wareham Planning Board will hold a public hearing on May 18, 2026 at 6 PM in room 520 of the Wareham Multi-Service Center, 48 Marion Road, Wareham, Massachusetts, 02571, to consider petition number Plan 26-4 for a definitive subdivision plan of land from the requirements of MGL Chapter 41, Section 81T to Yvonne Dunkel of 34 Onset Avenue, Buzzards Bay, Massachusetts, 02532, seeking to make improvements to the point of access on a previously approved subdivision plan located at 16 Broad Street, Wareham, Mass. Assessors Map 2, lots 1025-A5 in the R30 zoning district.
Okay.
I'll entertain a motion
I
to
should have done it
open the
for you.
public hearing.
I move to open the public hearing for Plan 26-4, 16 Broad Street, Form C.
Second.
All in favor?
Okay.
Julie Moran, aye?
Carl, was that a nay?
I said aye, yes, I'm
Okay,
sorry.
okay.
Sam Corbett, aye.
And Jane Gleason, aye. So 401 to open the public hearing.
Okay.
Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Alan Gifford. I'm here to
Is
represent.
your microphone on? Is this on?
I just want to hit it. My name is Alan Gifford. I'm here to represent Yvonne Dangle, who is the owner of 16 Broad Street. In summary, we had the original permit approved by the planning board. We're back here mostly because the expiration date of the planning board, which was no fault of ours because the plan was held up by the sewer moratorium for 4 years, so we could not do anything. As a result of that, we could not build. So now we're back here to have the approval from the planning board. In summary about the planning documents, there is no change, nothing. We intend to continue with the original plan. But the plan has been approved by various departments like conservation, planning, building department, and tax department. So that is where we stand. We just need the planning board's approval for the document.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
through you to Mr. Faraday. Josh, does this project fall under the broad extension that the governor granted almost every application?
No, it expired right at, we did the math on the timing of all those, and it fell just outside of that timeline. Carl, I don't think you were on the board when the applicant came forward with the extension. So there was an extension request put in front of the board, and at that time, it was determined that it was expired and could not be extended. And the sentiment of the board at that time was, file a new application.
Without prejudice.
Without prejudice, there were a waiving of the application fees, but there was a requirement of, still notifying the abutters and advertisement in the Wareham Week.
We've got a little bit of an issue, I think, with the applicant being able to read what Carl is saying.
Hey, John. Is there a
Is that,
subtitle?
is that accurate?
Is there a way to put subtitles on the Zoom?
As I believe the applicant is seeing a transcription of what we're saying in the room, but not what's being said on the screen. Is that correct?
We have Arthur here. It's picking up the voices and it's transcribing to words. We have problem picking up
It's not picking up his voice.
not very well.
Okay.
For your information, a request for interpreter was made, but the town has failed to get the interpreter for us. So
Yeah.
they asked to postpone. We're asking, no, we are going to move on, and we're going to do the best we can. So we will have trouble answering their question because we can't pick it up.
Okay.
But you have to tell us what
We
he's
should,
saying.
we could
Yeah.
repeat his questions.
Yeah, well, is there a
Or tell him to shut up.
another question? Is it possible to sit with your device closer to one of the speakers?
It has to be near the speaker.
Yeah,
Where
that's-
are the speakers?
There's one up, is that where it's coming from? There and there, on the wall?
Madam Chair, will it help if I speak louder? Does
Yes.
that help?
Is that coming through?
If it doesn't work, you can ask us, and we'll answer.
Yeah. Well, he just spoke again, but more loudly. Were you able to pick that up?
Does it help if I speak more loudly? No, I guess not.
I will reiterate his questions.
Okay.
That's fine.
Okay.
That's fine. We'll make this work.
We could try that. Good point, thank you. Good suggestion. That may help. The air conditioner is creating a lot of white noise. So perhaps that will help. Carl, can you say something?
Yes, I am repeating my question. I asked the town planner if this application was covered by the governor's moratorium extending all projects. However, Mr. Farady informed me this had previously expired, so my question was relevant. Did that help?
Is that coming through? Yeah?
Yes, it is.
Okay,
We
good.
picked it up.
Okay, good. That helps.
I will try and speak loudly and clearly. Just let me know.
Yeah, no, the shutting off the air conditioner seems to have done the trick. So we are, this did not fall under, or it,
It fell just outside. Their request fell outside of the timing of the extension, the Acts of 2024 permit extensions.
He came back again, and we okayed it, did we?
No, when he came back, when they came back for the extension, it was determined that the application had expired.
That would be-
At that time, I feel the sentiment of the board at that time was, you just missed the extension, we can't extend it legally.
because
But it-
there's nothing, there's.
Right,
Nothing
but,
to extend.
Right.
Yeah, that would be problematic for them.
but
Yeah.
I felt the sentiment of the board at that time was the applicant would reapply, and it should be a fairly easy approval process. And if Mr. Gifford would like, I would like to take the board through the site plan, which is the last 4 pages.
Yes,
That's
please.
fine.
Okay. All right. So, looking at page 1 of 3 of the site plan, the 3 lots that are centered on the application, and,
I have a quick
yeah,
question.
go ahead.
Does Carl have access to that site plan?
I spoke with Josh before I left and told him I likely wouldn't get a chance to look at anything. I'll follow along.
I was curious if
I-
you could pull it up on your screen at all to see it.
I'm going to listen because I'm not going to be in favor of closing this tonight,
Okay.
only because I saw that we got a letter expressing some concerns, and I haven't had time to read the letter. Is that correct, Josh? The letter that we got today was this project, right?
That's correct.
So I haven't had a chance to study their comments or concerns.
Understood.
But please, go through exactly what you're doing. I'm not going to make this any more difficult than it needs to be. And I was on the board when that happened.
Okay.
I might have even been chair.
You were here.
Yeah, I don't think you were chair, but yeah, I think you were here. Okay. Moving on. Okay. So before you, on plan, page 1 of 3, you see that there are 3 lots outlined in a bold black. Those 3 lots are being subdivided from what would have been 1025-A2. They are being subdivided into 1025-A5, A4, and A3. At the time, the planning board had approved that they be subdivided as shown, with a restriction in the covenant stating that only a single-family dwelling would be allowed to be built on lot A5. I will also note that parcel A3 has a note saying that it's a separate lot, it is deemed non-buildable, and it will be combined with the adjacent lot.
Belonging to the Staples.
I'm a little unsure on that
Okay.
statement.
Okay.
There's nothing in the plan set that really defines which lot it's being
Yeah, 'cause-
combined to.
Right, it's abutting a number of, yeah.
Yeah.
The
Okay.
adjacent lot.
So moving on to the second sheet, you have what would be considered the road construction and road construction details. And what it ultimately does is it gives a access to lot 1025-A. There is also a note in there that says lot 1025-A4, which is the property to the east of it, or it would be south, but plan east, is not deemed buildable until access is approved by the board. So in no way is access allowed through this subdivision to 1025-A4, which is the other buildable lot. Drawing 3 of 3 is the construction methodology and protocols. And then the 4th page is just a reiteration of what you're looking at. I would say that the major takeaway from the original approval of the subdivision was the fact that it could not be subdivided, or a second 2-family home could be built. It's restricted to a 1-family building.
Actually, I think it's this drawing that led me to believe that it was, that lot 1025-A3 was being combined with the Staples lot, because this was prepared for the Staples. That was,
Oh, okay.
I was making an assumption, but that's where it came from.
Understood.
Oh, and this drawing was for the Staples as well.
It looks like, Carl, do you have a question?
Yes. Madam Chair, through you to the town planner.
Yes.
Clarification, the law has changed since the original subdivision plan, so saying that these lots can only be built as single-family homes does not take into account they can now put ADUs on these lots, correct?
That would be correct. It would
So
still
I
be
just wanted, that was a clarification. So,
understood. And
so I don't, we have to think about what the, I guess that would be a building permit issue.
Yeah, under the
Yeah, the
ADU.
zoning board doesn't,
We don't have
the
discretion.
planning board does not have any discretion over ADUs.
No, I meant, we have discretion over the subdivision, though.
Right,
Eh.
but not over ADUs.
Yes, but we could look at the lot shape factors and things like that to say if an ADU were on there, does it meet the wetlands? Because I think the questions are wetlands questions. So do you need to repeat this for the applicant? I know, I'm trying to speak slowly and loudly.
No,
These are
have-
just clarifying questions.
yeah.
The air conditioning off has helped. Apparently, their devices are able to read.
So,
Okay.
Mr. Sorry, Carl, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Josh. You could just summarize and then I'll wait for your answer.
Okay.
So I really want to know if, now that we could put ADUs on these, are there any considerations for the way the subdivision is laid out? This is a new subdivision. We can consider the impact of putting an ADU on the lot. We can't say they can't, but we can look at lot shape factors and like that.
Well, I think that that's actually,
Let me
Go ahead.
summarize it for
Go
them.
ahead.
Ms. Dunkel and Mr. Gifford, what Mr. Schultz was asking was, with the inception of the ADU, which is accessory dwelling units, should the board be considering a difference in the lot layout and the shape factor? Accessory dwelling units did not exist at the time of your subdivision, and he was just posing a question to the board, I would say, is more anything.
And then just my next
Yeah.
clarifying questions.
Yeah.
There was the lot at the back that there was a note or a covenant saying it could not be built on until access was granted and it would come back to the board for approval. What would be the process for it coming back to us? Would that be a modification to the plan?
Correct. Yeah, it would have to be a modification to the plan because the only thing they've supplied you is the entrance to the one lot. And-
Okay, so that was just fine for me. So they would have to come back with a modification.
Correct.
Okay, that's the process for coming back. Perfect, I understand that.
Okay.
Yep.
I guess that was my question, that looking at, nothing really has changed. This is dated I guess 2019 was the update. So really, the compliant lot is 1025-A5. A4 doesn't have adequate frontage at this point.
correct.
Right. Right. Frontage or access.
Yeah, right.
Yep. Because the only thing they're showing is the road construction to A25, lot
Right.
125.85.
Yeah.
Okay, and my third clarifying question, Mr. Farady, we have done a lot of work on conditions. I don't, particularly road conditions, and I don't think we should ignore the fact that we've made significant progress in understanding how we condition projects.
Yeah, and I think it would be appropriate for you to impose your standard conditions that you have for new subdivisions.
And then finally, at some point, I would ask if Mr. Cordier has any comment. Doesn't have to be now.
Mr. Gifford?
From what I was reading, we keep emphasizing subdivision, which means more than one property lot. We're not dealing with that. We're just dealing with one lot. No, we're not building a road. We're building a driveway. That was as per the agreement with the Conservation Board and the Planning Board. We're not building a road. We're building a driveway. That
A
has been
a subdivision
waived
is a
by
road, by
the
definition.
Planning Board.
Well,
The
You already have that in your notes.
Yeah,
in the meeting minutes, and it's all in the backup,
the
the
ac-
footnotes.
the access that you've presented, while we agree it's access to a single lot and it may be viewed as a driveway, it is considered road construction.
It's a terminology.
When you say road, you mean put down asphalt, right? No, there will be no asphalt on the access road or that's in the, so that part, the details for the so-called road construction has been deleted.
Does it say
Has
asphalt,
been
Josh?
approved by the planning board and the conservation.
Are you looking for the waiver? Is that the waiver?
Because I know that Seahorse Lane is gravel or crushed stone.
So.
It has,
As I said earlier, we are not deviating from the original plan that was approved by the planning board. As far as you brought up about ADU, no, we have no intention of building ADU at all. There is no interest, no plan for ADU.
An ADU is not something that this board can have purview over. That is something that is state mandated, and we can't
Allows you.
say
It's-
anything about it.
other than consider the layout of the subdivision.
Right.
It's a new law that came into effect after you submit. This is a new application, so
This is a new application, and so my question was going to be, not question, but comment, is that I think that it probably makes sense to have A&M through Phil Cordero do a review of what has changed in the bylaws that we need to be, that's applicable and needs to be paid attention
law.
to.
Yeah.
now, Madam Chair, a comment through you.
Yes.
And to assuage some of the applicant's fears, Mr. Cordero took great lengths at the last meeting to coach me that we can grant waivers, but they have to apply for the waivers for a condition like this. So the waivers need to be applied for and voted on. So Mr. Cordero took a lot of time coaching me last time, but the waivers need to be specifically granted.
Madam Chair, may I?
Yes,
Yes,
please.
please.
So there's a couple of points floating around. I'm going to try to go off of memory for them. So Member Schultz is correct, in my opinion, as well. Even though this is an older application, it is coming before the board as a new application.
Absolutely.
And it would be my opinion and recommendation for you before acting on this, if the intent is not to build the road or to deviate from your standards, it should be accompanied by a list of waivers for you to consider. One of those waivers would be the standard roadway cross-section, which, to the applicant's discussion, it clearly was not the intent on the plans to put asphalt down. Their detail refers to what's called RAP, which is a recycled asphalt product. It's
Yep.
essentially gravel that compacts very well, which could in fact meet the definition of adequate lining, grade, and stability for the fire department, but should be annotated as a waiver.
Right, as this is a new application, we need to have all of those waivers considered relative to this application.
Right.
That would be my recommendation for you, for the board to consider. And then one last point, I am also not an expert on the ADU, and I understand the board does not have purview to control those. But the very premise of an accessory dwelling unit is that there's a principal dwelling unit on the lot. So to Member Schultz's question at the beginning, consideration of the non-buildable parcels in terms of their contention for ADUs, the premise that they're not buildable would not qualify them for a principal and therefore would not qualify them for an ADU.
I maybe didn't get that from what Carl was asking, that he was asking perhaps about an ADU going on the other lots. To
Well,
me,
I was
Without a
just-
residence,
Thank you, yes, thank you.
Right, without a
Right.
residence
An
there, they
AD
can't use it in that way.
right, an ADU needs to have a principal dwelling, and so it would only be, an ADU could go on lot 1025-A5,
That's correct.
but not on the other lots, because there would not be a principal dwelling for them to be accessory to.
Correct.
And Phil, other question is, it looks like that this is a very high elevation, there's a drop. And I looked and I didn't see that you were asked back in 2019, and maybe you weren't involved with the town at that time, to look at any of this, stormwater management, any of that, as it affects the subdivision.
It would have been Charlie Rowley at the time.
Okay,
It would have been Mr. Rowley. I wasn't here with you, so I can't speak to what Mr. Rowley had reviewed, but those would be the standard checklist items today that it would be looked at.
okay.
So, thank you. I have one more procedural question, Madam Chair.
Yes.
The applicant is very concerned that the information, this is just a resubmittal of a previous application. The proper way to procedurally bring all of that into the record is not his request for us to go look at our notes is to actually make a motion to incorporate by reference all of that material, which then means that I would need a request to the planning office to resurrect all of that, because the website that had all of that information is now no longer extant. But the applicant could request that we read all of that detail into the record, so that, and we could vote on that. But that would solve his question. Well, you have the minutes, you have the notes, but that would just be part of the record then.
This is
Right
new.
now, it's not part of the record, and it's not part of this application.
Mr. Schultz,
Yeah,
they did provide the previous application, meeting minutes, as part of the application. So you do have it as part of this record.
yeah.
Good, okay. So all of that,
1C, everything's here,
Yep.
yes.
And
okay. What was the project number, Josh?
The old project number was 11-19.
Okay, I will
And
go look for
I
it.
did look back at the planning board website, and the projects that are on the website go back as far as 2020, I believe. They don't go to 2019. So,
All right, so if you could relay to the applicant, to the extent that they provided those items for reference, they're in the record. My concern would be that that is not the complete record, as objections raised, Mr. Rowley's reports, that probably was not in the material they submitted. So if we want to have a complete record, we would have to do that. Otherwise, we have what they submitted. But we don't have any abutters comments. We don't have any objections from anyone else.
we don't have Mr. Rowley's review letter.
Report. Right, and they're not part of the record unless we read it in.
Right.
This is new,
This is a new
new
application.
Yes.
application.
Right.
But, Mr. Corbett, in the past, where we've come up with these resubmittals, most famously with the Hill,
Fearing Hill,
yes, the Hill. We read those into the record, I think, 4 times to get everything in the body of the record. I'm only procedurally saying if that helps the applicant or it helps any citizen who's, I know we had one concern, but it's not the complete record with what they submitted.
So,
Procedure questions for the board to consider.
yes,
Yep. One more point that I'll bring up. We've made the comment of it's a new application multiple times tonight. As it was an approved subdivision, it has a zoning freeze. So the applicable bylaw would be the 2019.
okay, all right, so
It
my
changes.
question to Mr. Cordero.
Madam
is-
Chair, to Mr. Farady, if it expired, it doesn't have that protection.
Zoning freezes are established for 7 years.
Except that the
Excuse me.
subdivision they lost their approval.
By the mere fact of them having an approval
Approval.
created a zoning freeze for, in correction, 8 years.
Regardless of
Okay.
whether it expired, yes. It attaches at that time when they file the subdivision plan.
All right, that's fine, so we have to use the 2019 zoning bylaws.
Correct.
So there will be less to Mr.
Back
Cordero's
to square
review,
Yep.
because it will not be an updated bylaw that you'll be applying to it.
Except rules and regulations are not subject to that limitation.
Agreed.
Rules and regulations, yes, the bylaws are
Yep.
subject to that. Right?
Correct.
That's my understanding.
I don't know enough to say yes or no.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the zoning freeze, but the subdivision rules and regulations
Right,
are not the
part of
zoning
that.
freeze,
Right.
correct? Okay,
So moving forward,
53G to fill.
People that want to speak.
yes. Let's open it up to the public if anybody wishes to speak. And if you would tell us your name and spell it for us. Yeah, have a seat. Yep.
My name is Susan Mann, SUSANMANN. I own the lot next to them, the A4. It's to the
So
south.
you're lot 1043. In our drawing, it's the upper right-hand side of the
Yes, I
drawings.
live on lot 1043.
Okay,
I also own the woodland lot north of that,
okay.
1025A4.
She owns the lot that abuts.
Okay, okay.
Yep.
So I have the understanding that where their driveway enters in is floodplain, and they were required to have an impervious surface.
Okay,
I have some concerns about, paying attention to the vernal pool and the animals that live there. Also, there are box turtles in the area. So I suppose all that's going to can be addressed through the Conservation Commission. Is that right? And then also, I'm wondering about their driveway coming in, which is 15 feet wide, I believe. Is that what they're required to do, or could they choose to have it smaller? Because 15 feet seems more than you would need for a driveway.
it's showing 16 feet here on
Madam Chair, and Mr. Cordero can correct me, unless they get a waiver, it needs to be 20 feet wide.
That was a request by the fire department. Originally, they wanted it to be something like about 25 feet. We said, no,
Yeah.
we want it as small as possible. So.
Needs a waiver.
We agreed to that smaller size.
Okay,
Just
so you have to
saying that.
request a waiver. So you need a waiver request.
Yep.
Okay.
So, any other concerns while you're at the table?
I think that's it. if I'm allowed to come back.
Okay.
That's all I have for now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Susan, I have one quick question for you. This rectangular
Oh,
lot?
right, I'd like to clarify that.
Okay,
That lot that you were talking about, A3,
yep.
did belong to the Staples, and their house lot abuts it.
The,
Okay.
1042.
42 is the Staples house. And A3 goes with the house.
Okay,
Okay,
that-
so it is being connected to the 1042.
That's not abutting to us.
It has nothing
Yeah.
to do with them, right?
We only have this.
Mm-hmm.
This is your land. This one,
Goes with
Yeah.
the Staples house, which
Okay.
is, it's no longer Staples, but it goes. And then also you were talking about frontage for A4, for 1025 A4, which is my lot.
Yeah.
So, and this was all in our family, the three kind of big lots.
Yeah.
So it was our, all the cousins worked together on this. So there is
okay, you see this in
frontage.
here?
Mhm.
That was developed to give you extra frontage,
Yep,
so that you didn't need to have this part to make this buildable.
yep.
Am I understanding that correctly?
Right, that's, my understanding is when we did this, it was set up so we both have frontage.
Right. It was set up,
You can see the
Yeah,
line,
common
is
driveway.
151 feet, the straight, which would
Yeah.
be the boundary line kind of going between them that
Okay.
runs through
Yeah.
the entranceway.
Guess
is
the part
150.
that's confusing to me is that 151 is actually not part of lot 1025A4. It's part of this parcel 1025A6.
Oh, is that the long thin area?
Yeah,
That
which
belongs to me also.
is probably intended to connect to Evergreen Street, is that?
Yep.
So,
But that,
And
there
I-
was something about when we were doing it where that would not be the access. There's something about it that the evergreen going into there wouldn't be, it
so,
was made so I would come in on Broad Street.
yeah, so that would need to be ironed out. That's a little quirky, I
Yeah.
think, that the 151 is actually not frontage for parcel 1025A4. It's actually,
Please don't use the word parcel.
Yeah, it's what it's
that's how
identified
labeled.
as.
That's
Yeah.
how it's identified on the drawing. I can't identify it as something different.
Ach,
Yeah,
So, Carl, just to give you a reference, the lot we are talking about is titled parcel 1025-A4, and the note that is attached to it is not to be considered as a separate building lot until such time that adequate frontage is provided on a way approved by the planning board.
no, I'm okay, I
Okay.
was okay with that.
Okay.
I just,
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
The problem we're having is with the terms lot and parcel. And we understand what that means in the industry, in the civil engineering profession. And that's the usage of it, but there is nowhere that we can find in state statute nor in our zoning bylaws that differentiates between a lot and a parcel. So that's where our frustration lies. So,
First of all, the planning board approved this.
the planning board has not approved
We're
this
saying
plan.
it's not, all we're asking for is to be reapproved so we can move forward.
understood.
You're adding new things to it, like ADU, computers and so forth. Wait a minute. Our intention was to follow the original plan, nothing more, nothing less.
We understand
If you're
that.
going to try to make it more difficult,
well, it's,
I mean, we've been penalized by the sewer moratorium which was placed by the state of Massachusetts. It was not your fault. I'm not blaming you for it. but we're just asking for assistance. We're not going to say anything, and we've discussed with Ms. Mann and the Wareham Land Trust. We have cooperated very well with them. They've asked us to do some things, we've done it. All we're asking for, please, is to get this approved so we can move on. We've been penalized by the sewer moratorium, we've been penalized for other things. We've asked for an interpreter, we didn't get one because we like to answer all your questions. All those things pile up, now we're starting to wonder, what's going on now? I don't know. So, please make it clear so that we can get our project going, that's all. Why should we be penalized for something that expired 7 years ago? Hey, we came in, nobody informed us that our planning permit expired, nobody communicated with us, etc. There's a total communication breakdown that's all I have to.
So there was some information provided to us tonight that Miss Mann owns A2, and the Staples own A3 now. Now, the question I brought up to Phil and we're kind of debating over here is you guys are looking at a subdivision plan for property that has already been subdivided and sold to interested parties. And the question now becomes, is this just a buildable lot as it sits, as it's only a single lot? It's almost like the necessity of a subdivision no longer exists.
That's correct. Why are we talking about it?
So it's an A and R.
That's a really
I don't
good
even think it's an
question.
A&R.
Yeah, it's already existing.
It exists by itself,
And it's been sold to different parties,
right?
so it's been delineated.
It's been acted upon.
Yeah,
The subdivision that was approved by the board in 2019 has been acted upon through the transfer of multiple lots here, that this may no longer
so
need to
maybe
be
this is
subdivision.
not even an issue.
The last time they were here, we were treating it as a single lot, not as a subdivision.
And that's what it still is.
And that's, I don't know why we're here.
Yeah,
The last time they came, it was a single buildable lot we talked about.
The last
Set them on
time,
their way without prejudice, thinking it's an easy,
the last time they were here, it was presented as an extension of the
It was-
subdivision.
it was-
yeah, but it was expired.
yeah,
Right.
right.
Right, and that's why we said you've got to come back and
Right.
Right. and-
reapply, because we can't extend something that doesn't exist anymore.
Okay, what are we going to call it?
And in no way did we know that Susan now owned that lot and the Staples had actually gone forth
Right.
with combining the other lot.
Right,
I think you need to table this and I need to speak to town council. It may be an approvable lot as it sits.
just as it
Right.
stands,
Without having to go
without any
through-
application at all.
Right. And without getting 53G money involved,
Yeah,
revisiting, we
Well,
may
and
not have
the-
authority to
and the
revisit.
53G, I wonder if that's even really necessary where we're under the same bylaw,
Right.
even if,
If
this-
you
if
agree
we
with
have to.
Charles O'Reilly's opinion, there was only, I think, one of you on the board at the time when it first
yeah,
came
no, it's a
forward.
completely new board, so that's,
Right. I think we need to look at that, and then I think town council, because
yeah,
I guess that's what we've been struggling with. It's looking at something that already happened,
yeah.
and you're left with one lot.
So it
The
may
rest
be
already
that,
happened.
Right.
it may be that there's no approval required from us at all.
Right.
If I may, I mean, the reality is, if I may, sorry to overstep,
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
is the lots should not have been sold because the subdivision, when it was enacted, had construction criteria that should have been completed before those lots were transferred. That's the very need for a covenant and bonding, et cetera. So it appears they transferred without having done any work, but the fact that they transferred them engaged the subdivision.
yeah.
Illegally, possibly.
Recommendation to review with council.
Yes.
Yes, I said possibly, I didn't,
Yeah,
I-
right.
So none of,
Because in some respects, it becomes are good applicants' issue more than us as far as what happened over here.
Yeah.
So, interesting question. Another procedural question for the I'm going to ask a procedural question. So, Josh, the applicant came back, submitted an application. They were not denied a building. Normally, the first step in the process is they have a letter of denial from Mr. Turner. So there was no denial. They could have gone and said, we want to build something on our lot.
There was a denial.
There was a-
Carl, there was a denial.
When, recently?
Yeah.
Back when they
Oh.
first came, in, what was it, March, that they first came before us? Yeah.
Oh, so I need to complain the denial. What was his
Can we
denial?
just put this on hold?
Well, yeah, I
And
think speaking
iron
to
this
town
out. We're not
council,
gonna
and then
do this tonight.
interfacing with the building department as well. Right.
Wait, we've got an open public hearing, so no, we can't put it on hold.
No,
Yes,
we can
we
continue
can.
it,
We can continue it.
We can continue it.
right? And speak
As
to
we do
town
all the
council
time.
To try to clarify this.
Can make a motion to continue this to another time.
Wait,
Could I say one more
are you not going to let any of the public speak?
Got a
Any-
member of the public who'd
Yeah,
like
we
to
do.
speak.
Could I say one more thing? I'm not sure, you were talking about selling this, but it was sold to them, but this all belonged to my family, and we just divided it up, like this family gets this part, this gets this part, this gets this part. So there wasn't like a sale of these.
Was it recorded?
There was a sale of that
Yes,
lot.
right, theirs was sold to them.
And was there a recorded deed changing lot
I think so.
A3 and A4 to new ownership?
Well, it sounds like A4 would have stayed in the same ownership, but A5 and A3 would have gone to different owners.
Yeah, there are.
Well, A3 stayed with, so one cousin got A3 plus
Okay.
A5, and then they sold A5.
We talked about this.
But they would have, and so you would have recorded a deed. When you say they got it, there would have been a deed recorded.
So what I wasn't understanding is the
So,
Staples are
whether
part of the
trans-
family.
Whether transfer or sale, the effect is the same. There was a deed recorded.
Right.
We don't know that the deeds were recorded now.
Okay, I have
So
a
this is a
motion.
mess.
We continue the
check that.
hearing.
Well, I want to hear from the members of the public who are
Yes.
here who'd like to speak on the
Yep.
project
They can
first.
speak
And
when
then,
we
yeah,
come back.
Yeah, let's,
We
means
we
they
have
have
to
to
This
deed-
could all go away.
excuse me?
we have to deed for the property.
we understand that.
No, I just find it's not recording very well. But we have to deed, and we even brought up, it's not a subdivision anymore. It is 3 separate lots now. We bought one for the, she has the other.
Right.
So, question I have is, say, if I bought a lot, with this other lot, if I one lot, do I have to go to the planning board to build?
That's what we're realizing. This may
Is that
be
normal?
completely moot, but it's got to be reviewed by town council because there are some things
Transfers
in the
involved.
process of it being a subdivision from before that happened not sort of according to,
But it's a single lot now.
well, we
And
need to
that's-
That's
confirm
what
that
we
with
want,
town council.
I'm not going to opine that it's a single lot at this point.
We need to confirm that with council.
Yeah. And that is looking at deeds, transfer, to see what's,
So what has changed since 2019?
Okay,
What has changed
Well,
since, yeah,
What has changed since 2019?
what has changed since 2019 is the fact that
Lots have been sold
this parcel was sold.
or
or
transfer,
transferred.
transfer.
But
Oh,
why
okay.
does that apply to us?
Because all 3 of these lots were a part of the subdivision.
But it's no longer a subdivision now. It was approved by the planning board back in 2019. We moved on.
Yes.
So-
back then it was just subdivision.
So why is that becoming an issue for us now? You're adding something to us that has We're going all the way to the back. I mean, we don't understand that.
Arguably, we're trying to make it easier for you with the line of questioning that we're moving forward with. Yep.
We also have time problem.
Yeah. Because rules and regulations under our planning board rules and regulations have changed. So what we're looking at is, with what's happened, is this just one lot? And so it really isn't a subdivision
It's quite possible
to be
that that's the
before us
case.
at this time.
But the thing that is throwing us is that in a typical subdivision, which would have been what was approved back in 2019, there's a sequence by which a subdivision has to proceed that, like, the roadway has to go in, infrastructure has to go in. There are a bunch of things that have to go in before the lots can be conveyed to different owners. And that appears to not have happened. It appears that they were conveyed to different owners before some of the preliminary stuff happened, and that's
I
where
know.
we're sort of scratching our heads, like, how do we
Right.
grapple with this?
Or to make it easier, none of that now applies.
Maybe
We're
none
looking at
of,
one
maybe
lot.
none of it applies
Right.
because the lots have transferred to different owners, and it may be that we're looking at one lot, as
Your
you
lot.
said, your lot.
Okay, so we need, town council, I don't believe they could legally be transferred because it didn't meet the requirements of the subdivision.
I'm just saying that.
Okay.
I'm
We're-
just saying
we're gonna
that
do
her
research.
lot was illegally transferred.
We don't know, that's why we want to talk to town
The
council.
deed- You have the
Right,
deed
but it's
already.
the
Understood.
timing. It's the
Understood.
timing of
Others
the-
have.
And that's why we want to review with town council.
I don't know if this
All right,
helps,
so
but
Sam made a motion, we didn't act on it, I interrupted him rudely.
No, and I said I was waiting on
We have someone
that
else to
motion
speak.
because there were
Mrs.
some members
you
of
had
the
a qu- you
public
had a
who wanted
question?
to speak.
this was divided up long before they bought their portion,
Yep.
and it was done very formally. It's all written up, like why it's done this way and how it
And
meets all the
pursuant to a
different-
plan, was there a plan recorded, do you know?
I think so.
Yeah, and a
Was
deed
that
and
part
all
of
that.
the subdivision application that was submitted in 2019?
This
That was
all was
bef-
done way
Before that, okay.
So, Madam Chair, again, through you to Mr. Cudero or Mr. Farady for the research, they would have had to have shown title for all of these lots in order to get the subdivision. Was that not reviewed in 2019? If they didn't have title to all the lots in the subdivision, how did we proceed at all?
We had the time for them.
Well,
If,
keep
I
in
guess,
mind that
are you referring to separate titles for each of the lots, Carl?
Title to all of the 3 lots.
In order to do a subdivision, doesn't the person submitting the subdivision plan have to have title or authority over all of the lots in the
I
subdivision?
think this is the problem. It started with,
This was what the
Staples.
cousin Ted
And they
Staples
came in.
and
because this plan was for Staples,
Let's
3 separate.
and then it was updated.
let Nancy speak,
Yes.
and then just
Continue it.
going in circles, there's no reason for
Yeah,
conversation at
yes.
this point.
Yeah,
I
that's
agree.
fine. I
Nancy.
don't know if there's anybody else in the audience who wants to speak after Nancy, but
Nancy McHale, Faring Hill Road, representing the Wareham Land Trust. The executive director of the Land Trust did submit a letter this afternoon or this morning about our concerns regarding the project. And I'll just read in part that we respectfully request that special attention be given to potential impacts on the stormwater, the drainage, the habitat disturbance, the buffer areas, and any factors that could affect the adjacent conservation land and vernal pool ecosystems. I understand, and I have spoken with the applicant and we've talked about their hopes and dreams for the property, but we want to make sure that no stone is unturned in protecting the conservation values, not only of our parcel, but also of the adjacent town-owned land that is directly across from where their driveway would be, as well as Ms. Mann's property that she recently inherited. One of the questions that I would have is in terms of trying to figure out whether this is one A&R or if it's a subdivision, would be whether or not the, Ms. Dunkel now owns two parcels, the A5 and A7. So those were part of the property that was divided. So the A7
She owns this
and
and
this.
that.
Right. So that combination then is what is the access. There's a easement that runs from the end of Broad Street through the property, and that maybe the investigation of what that easement says will be helpful as you're looking at this, because the easement goes over the,
Does it connect to 1026-A?
1026-A.
25.
It's the other connection of the road. So follow the Broad Street Road.
Yep.
Down.
A6 is,
I don't know if I'm
Oh,
seeing.
A6 is
right here.
the parcel that
This is the
eventually,
reference is the access easement.
yep, would match, I understand, A6. It does. I believe it does. Which is the reason why it's written in the easement documents. The easement passes over the land trust bottom piece as well. And it's very specific to be able to give access to A4.
Right.
Which is, I think, the reason why it came as a subdivision as opposed to a single lot.
A&R.
Well, originally, there were multiple houses going to be built. That's why originally was a
Yeah.
subdivision.
Yeah, so that it could have been, so that A4 was also then buildable at
Buildable,
that point
yeah.
in time.
Right.
Okay.
That was in 2019.
Also, when the easement was given to us, there was an agreement made with conservation, that this would not be asphalt road. It would be-
Exactly, yes.
Right.
Which
that
is-
would, be
Madam
used
Chair.
That's the,
Pervious.
for other subdivisions.
Through you to the, we have a they can make whatever agreement they want with the Conservation Commission. They have no authority over roads.
Right. One of the questions that I have is, since this is a new plan, whatever order of conditions conservation had made at that, in 2019, is that still applicable, or do they need to go back to conservation as well?
I do not know that answer, but we will look at that.
Yeah.
I had a discussion with the conservation community, that lady in your office, who was in your office, Doug?
with Christine, our conservation
lady?
agent.
Okay.
She reviewed this, and she said there was no need to go through the Conservation
Again.
Commission. She said everything was there, and I even explained to her about the vernal pool, and she was aware of their request, because the road they were putting in is lower in elevation than the land, that their land is. So they asked us to remove the silt barrier, and we did, to allow with some animals who cross over. and not be blocked from vernal pool. So, so she said, we're fine as far as for conservation. I believe in open and honest communications. We have nothing to hide.
Madam
I
Chair,
just want
again,
to
through you to
emphasize-
the applicant. Christine could say whatever she wants. If this is a new application, we will need a letter from Conservation Commission,
Yeah.
either saying there's a notice of no determination or an order of conditions. It's a requirement that we get a letter for this application.
And again,
Maybe just-
assuming that it's not what we discussed, which is.
A separate
It's a
lot.
separate lot. So I think we need,
The problem is the applicant is shotgunning, getting bits and pieces of information from a variety of committees without anybody looking at the rules and regulations or the bylaws.
Understood.
And in terms of the order of
And
conditions
then
for
we're
the
being made to be, look
conservation-
like the bad guys.
yeah, I know.
No, I just wanted to put it out there and make sure the i's are dotted and the t's
Sure.
are crossed.
Yep.
Which is precisely what
Yeah.
we're trying to do,
I
too.
absolutely understand that. Thank you very much for your understanding. A copy for you.
To make it clear, we have every intention to cooperate with them. There's no question about that.
Yep, we understand.
All we want is to get the approval as soon as possible. We have been delayed. The building department allowed us to work on, and then all of a sudden, they knew that we had sewer moratorium, then they said, oh, we have to stop.
Yep. We understand.
Understood.
And now,
Can we
So-
continue this, please?
I think we
no
want.
one told us that we had to go back and ask for an extension. Nobody told us. We never received any communication.
So we have a
We
motion on,
kept working on the permit. Go ahead. keep
We
working,
understand.
working.
Hey, time out.
So
we have a
what
motion.
we,
Thank you.
yeah, what we'd like to do is continue this hearing. So we have to the next meeting, I think we have opportunity in the next meeting,
what
to give
date?
us an opportunity to speak with town council to,
See
so
if we
he can
can-
opine on this situation, because this is very unusual.
And all this may
And-
go away.
And it may very much help the applicant not to have to proceed
It
where they
may
thought they might have to.
completely simplify your lives.
Yes,
Do we have a second?
Do we have a second?
second.
Carl, all in favor?
Carl?
We're looking to continue to our next meeting in June, on the 8th. I've got a motion and a second.
I know, I'm thinking.
Okay?
I'm going to vote aye, but I have no hope that we're going to get any kind of opinion.
Well,
We will not be here June 8th.
Oh, okay.
Just let you know.
June 22nd is the next meeting after that.
The next one after that.
After June 22nd? The next one is July 13.
Well, we need to have an interpreter for this, please, because I felt like
okay.
we're missing parts of it. And
Okay, you need to get the dates
Sam,
straight.
Mr. Corbett said, time out, time out.
Yeah.
I'm missing
A
something.
point of order. Discussion is not allowed once you start voting.
So
But
No,
wait,
no,
to the
no.
applicant is July 13th, a date that works for you, because we'll make a motion to
I
continue.
just want to make it clear because it's hard for us to follow what it's saying.
Sure.
But we appreciate the time and patience with us.
Okay. So we will,
Just July
I'll vote it
13?
aye.
yeah, just a minute. So we're going to continue this to July 13th? Right.
If that works with the applicant.
I'm sorry.
Just
we need
July
a new-
13?
Madam Chair, we need a new motion and a
June
new second.
22nd.
Okay.
Say that again?
June 22nd, you have that? Can we
Yes.
have it in June 22nd?
Yes.
We can do June 22nd.
Okay.
Can we get a revision to the motion?
Sam, want to reassert your motion to continue to,
To June 22nd.
yes.
And a second?
Second.
All in favor to move, to continue the project to June 22nd?
I,
Julie Moran, aye.
Sam Corbett, aye.
And Jane Gleason, aye. So we will see you on June 22nd.
June 22nd.
Yes.
Correct.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is project 26-9, 2838 Cranberry Highway for site plan review. Good evening, and if you could state your names and spell them for our scrivener, and we'll proceed from there.
Certainly, Jamie Bissonette, Jamie Bissonnette, from Zenith Consulting Engineers.
Bill Bachant, B-A-C-H-A-N-T, from Stingray City Realty and Bachant Builders.
Ronald Catone, R-O-N-A-L-D-C-A-T-O-N-E, and the purchaser of the property.
Okay, and I'm going to have you raise your right hand and swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes.
Thank you. So, the floor is yours to present what you're looking to do.
Okay. All right, so 2838 Cranberry Highway is an existing lot, has a residential zone in the back, the R130, and then it has the commercial strip zoning for the majority of the site. There's an existing single-family, well, residential dwelling on site with a garage. The lot itself is about 1.1 acre with a wetland to the north, and there is a FEMA floodplain of AE14 on part of the lot, and the rest of the lot is in Zone X outside of the 500-year flood. Back about a year or two ago, we did a septic repair on the site, and since then, the applicant, Mr. Bachant, has also filed with Zoning Board of Appeals at the request of the building inspector. I believe it was a special permit, which they did get through Zoning Board of Appeals successfully, but a condition of the approval was that we do site plan review. The site plan review, this plan probably has the least amount for a site plan that I've done in 20 years of doing this. It shows in an existing gravel area where we're designating some parking areas, truck loading areas, and gravel that's already there. What we're hoping to do with this is just kind of designate these areas and also improve by removing some of the gravel that's out there and putting in some lumen seed to make things clear while neatening the place up. We're not proposing any new utilities to the garage, and this plan set also has an erosion control and sediment plan involved in the set itself. We're not planning on a tremendous amount of employees. We show the parking spaces for the house and out and back on the existing gravel, and it seems to fit in with the neighborhood as there's commercial uses both left and right and across the street. For me, that's all I have to add, but I'm happy to take any questions. I don't know if these gentlemen have anything to...
I mean, basically, Bill Bachant, I've been here since 1985. The property has been used the same way since 1985, and no one has fixed it since 1985. So we went in, revamped everything, cleaned the place up. We took out at least 20 dumpsters worth of trash and garbage, and they had a contractor yard in the back. They had a fence company and all this other stuff, trailers, and but fixed it all up, and now it's not an eyesore anymore, and it's an addition to the neighborhood. It's basically pre-existing, non-conforming.
So much appreciated for the trash that was hauled out of there.
Yeah.
That's definitely appreciated. So, in looking through the application, I see a number of things that I guess I would say are probably, requiring waivers, and I didn't see any request for any waivers. I mean, we're certainly happy to consider waivers, but we need to know what they are.
Okay.
So I was seeing a few. Let's see. Plantings and buffers between commercial and residential properties, illumination, and again, we're talking about potential waivers.
Yes, we would like those waivers. I mean, basically, we took what was there and just fixed it.
Sure.
It's been the same way for 40 years, but, and Mr. Catone is not going to have customers going to his place. He's going to live there and he's going to park his trucks there, but he's not going to have traffic, commercial traffic coming in. People are not going to be going to his property,
So no
besides his employees.
There'll be
That
no
was actually-
employees.
Just some of his
There's a
employees
few
to pick up
employees.
trucks.
2 of them come in company trucks.
So, our engineer, did you go through and create a list of waivers? I don't see it.
No.
To
That's
Jane's
what I
point.
didn't,
We did
that's
not.
what I didn't see.
Okay.
We did not
I think you might want to do that.
Okay.
Yeah,
To start.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that
Look at the
we
rules and
understand.
regulations, Mass General laws, to make a list of waivers.
Right, so that we're understanding what it is you're asking to not do.
Right.
I don't
That's
think they'll let
required.
us do it right now.
Can we do it right now?
What's asking to be done exactly?
Well, that's what we need to know from you. What exactly, what of what's required?
Can we
are
ask
you-
for them right now?
No. It won't
It's hard
be
for us to
helpful.
review on the fly.
Because one of the things that we do use is the Mass 53G account, which we would engage our Allen and Majors that reviews these. So that would be the next step. And it's helpful for us and for our engineer if you have a list of waivers. It will go much more quickly if you can list those. Versus right now, us, without the benefit of the engineer analysis, to talk about waivers just doesn't
To
make
try to do this
sense.
on the fly.
Yeah, right.
What is exactly being asked? What are we asking to be waived?
It's asking you to look at our subdivision rules, our rules and regulations, the statute, compare it to what you're proposing, and then I think you're familiar
No,
with.
I understand
And then give
exactly.
us a list of
Yeah,
waivers.
it's
Again,
not
this
sub-
is to
it's
help
not
you.
sub- Madam Chair, just to clarify, it's not a subdivision, but it's the bylaws.
Yes, that's
Design
right, sorry.
bylaws,
Site
landscape
plan.
bylaws, setbacks, lighting,
Right.
parking, every single bylaw that you don't want to comply with.
Right.
Because the converse is, we'll send Mr. Cordero out to look at the application as is, and he will list all of the non-conforming items. Then we'll have to come back and you'll have to ask for a waiver for those but
This is more efficient, trust us.
Yeah. So there's a list in here in the application. The development plan shall include, and there are a bunch of NAs and a bunch of Xs, and I'm assuming the Xs are the ones that you've done.
That are on the plan
And the-
set, yeah.
Right, and the NAs are the ones that you think are not applicable to your project, but some of them really should be spelled out as requests for waivers, that you don't want to do it. It may be required by the bylaw,
Understood.
by the rules and regulations, but you don't want to do it. And so we need to review whether that's a reasonable request, and that those would be the waivers.
And grant every one of them, and then the decision ultimately would list those, which is helpful to you. So you know, 5 years from now,
Somebody comes along and
That
says,
you
well,
didn't have
they
to
don't
do
have
this.
a landscape buffer. Well,
Right.
that was waived, and it's
Right.
enumerated here in this decision.
Yeah.
So it's as much about
Very helpful
protection
to
of
you.
you as
Yeah.
us dotting i's and crossing t's and making sure that we're meeting the regulations of the town.
Okay. All right, we'll pull that together.
Okay?
Thank you so much.
So,
Is this a public hearing?
This is site plan
We
review.
didn't open the public
We did-
hearing if it's a
We
public
did
hearing.
not open the public hearing.
Yeah, that's, got a little derailed.
They're gonna do that now.
Yeah, it's okay.
I mention it
Okay.
only because there are a couple people that sitting there all night.
Yeah, I know.
Notice of public hearing. The Wareham Planning Board will hold a public hearing on May 18, 2026 at 6 PM in room 520 of the Wareham Multi-Service Center, 48 Marion Road, Wareham, Massachusetts, 02571, to consider petition number 26-9 for a site plan review under the requirements of Article 15 of the Wareham zoning bylaws to Stingray City Realty Corp. of 142 Bedford Street, Lakeville, Massachusetts, 02347, proposing use of property for mixed residential and small business purposes at 2838 Cranberry Highway, Assessors Map 129, Lot 1069A, in the R30 zoning district.
Make a motion, we open the hearing.
Second,
All in favor?
Aye.
Julie Moran, aye.
Sam Corbett, aye.
And Jane Gleason, aye. So the public
Motion
hearing
to
is open.
incorporate the conversation that we just had on the record.
Can I get a second?
Yes, Jake.
All in favor of incorporating our discussion just previously had into the record? All
Aye.
in favor? Carl?
Say
Aye.
Julie Moran, aye.
Sam Corbett, aye.
And Jane Gleason, aye.
Okay. So,
So is there anybody out there?
anyone wish to speak?
Okay to sit next to you, Bill?
Yeah, we've been friends for like 25 years.
Yeah.
And if you could state your name and spell it for the record?
My name is Ross McKee, ROSS-MCKEE.
And are you in a butter?
I am.
And please proceed.
There again. As long as everybody gets what they want, and I'm not looking for what I want, I'm just in a concern of, so we're coming up here for a site plan review under a different precinct, if I said that right, from the zoning.
Zoning Board of
Meeting.
Appeals, right. Yep.
They were asked for a different company, Caltone, I believe it is, to go in there. They asked for a site plan review. My question is, so it's going under Stingray Construction right now, under this plan. What happens when the other owner that is going to buy it, or is supposed to buy it, Caltone, is this plan going to stick with him too, or once Billy gets out of there, he can do whatever? Because I've got a concern of one thing. I don't believe in that plot plan picture right there. It's definitely way out of balance. Caltone has, I've been told, multiple businesses. I'm not sure. He's got a container business. A container's going to be able to stay loaded, especially if it's got household stuff in it. Are they going to be able to load containers there other than loading them onto the truck? Is there going to be any overnight trash of any sort? What time are they going to be able to start? And my concern is that, I mean, beyond the garage, there's plenty of other spots. What's going to happen in them? Everything else has been marked out, and like I said, I don't believe that plan is correct. If you guys would do a walk, you'd understand, you know what I mean? I didn't take an oath, but I'll swear to it. And I have an issue on, I have large trucks myself. I have one large truck that I drive myself, an 18-wheeler. I have 2 other trucks that work for the state. I don't know when the state's gonna call me. They could call me tomorrow. But I've got a contract with the state that I go right in back of my house to the state barn. And the concern of what time they're gonna start in the morning, does that mean that the guys get there at 6 o'clock, waiting for 7 o'clock out there talking? You know what I mean? Tin cans make a lot of noise. I'm concerned of how many cans and trucks are there, because from what I can see, what this plan shows isn't gonna fulfill his need of what he's telling us.
So,
My other question is,
okay, go ahead.
if you look at that driveway, it's a straight driveway. Might be 28 feet curb cut. Now, that's a one-way street there on a curve. The state just widened it to 3 lanes. It used to be 2 lanes. So all I hear now is passing gears, kick down gears, going, you know what I mean, trying to get around that slow person that's supposed to be doing 35 miles an hour. But if there's 2 people in the car, they can do 70. So I have a concern about traffic. I think someone's going to get hurt. You got a dump truck that's got to be 20 foot long. You got a trailer that's 24 foot long with the tongue and all that stuff, going straight across the highway, and those vehicles are really, really, really moving there. I know I'm in the business zone. I'm doing exactly what he's going to be doing. I've been there for well over 40 years. And I have issue, when my trucks go out in the wintertime, they usually get warning lights on, yellow lights, blinking lights, and then they can proceed out into the roadway. But at least I have an open area that when these cars are coming down the roadway, that driveway is blocked. They can't see anything coming until it's right upon them. I think that's a big concern for a commercial business to be there, whether or not he has, you know what I mean? He's going to have multiple vehicles going in and out of there, and I don't think it's proper. When I brought up for the EMS to be where the boatyard is there, Catalino said, no, you can't cross those highways, you know what I mean, to get to Route 6 where the boatyard is. You know what I mean? That was his recommendation back then, that an ambulance with lights and sirens would have a problem. And there again, you know what I mean, I'm doing the same business, but I have a driveway that's got a big belly that I can sweep out, and I can stay in within a lane. You know what I mean? I'll probably snug 2 lanes, but there's still a lane open, and I'm not going directly across to square up, so I'm not going on someone else's property. I don't think there's proper access for a company to be in there without a larger curb cut. You know what I mean? There again, I look at it that I've already had an accident there of vehicles passing my vehicles on the right-hand side, even though it's all illegal and stuff like that, and I got all these lights on here, but I didn't get cited, but it happens. And all I can see is if a car veers off because it has nowhere to go across the street, there's an elderly lady living in an apartment there, that those cars are just going to either swerve left or right, or the house right next to it, that the driveway is, that's the property line, the driveway. I think it's a dangerous section, that's all, a driveway to get in and out of a business. You know, and does it take an accident to prove that I'm right? Or, you know what I mean? It doesn't have a wide enough access to, you know what I mean? I would suggest a curb cut at least to widen the driveway. I feel that's a big concern in life and property.
But I think that that's something that Allen and Major, the engineering firm that would be reviewing this, would look at, and that would be the radii of the curbs, at the curb cuts.
Yeah.
And that's pretty critical.
What
I-
equipment he's pulling out of, he's not pulling a little Maserati out of
Gotta
there.
be part of the consideration.
Okay, yeah.
That's got to be part of the consideration. And I will say that we've got a 1 to 2,000 and then 1 to 20 drawings, and there's kind of nothing in between, so we don't really have a whole lot of context to look at exactly what you're talking about. And I appreciate what you're saying. But it would be helpful to us to have something that's somewhere between this locust plan and the 1 to 20 plans, so that we can see that curve and see a little bit more of
So
the context.
The employee parking area, what they're showing on there for the employee parking area, I mean, is that gonna change once Bill sells the property to, you know what I mean?
There are going to be the waivers that we've got to look at, and that's part of, that would be part of what gets considered. I think Josh is going to speak to whether the,
Yeah, your first question was that Mr. Catone had come before the zoning board, gotten approval, and now Mr. Bashan is here under a different corporate name, the original zoning approval. Both of those approvals run with the land, not with the applicant.
there's the answer to your question.
Once they're recorded.
So the approval that they would get would be based on what we're looking at here, and that goes with the land. It doesn't go with the owner. So if there's a new business that comes in, that the program of what they're doing exceeds the program of what was considered under this application, it needs to be reviewed again.
So who puts a limitation, you know what I mean? First of all, define small compared to medium or large. You know what I mean? We're asking for a small business, but what do businesses usually do?
Right.
So is there going to be more equipment there? How many dumpsters are going to be able to park there? And are they going to be able to be loaded with any household trash or any other type of trash? It could be bringing in animals in and whatnot. And what time can they
And that's where the
start?
zoning enforcement officer
Right.
comes in.
Well, and what we also do as part of site plan review is create a whole series of conditions customized to this project. Ask a lot of questions about hours, traffic, management of all of that. So any decision we might ultimately issue will have a whole series of conditions specific to the project. Some will be general, but listening to what we're hearing, using Allen and Major, our engineering group, that will be looking at all of this as well, we can expect that there'll be a series of conditions which are enforceable, again, as what Jane said, by the zoning enforcement officer.
But the
So-
curb cut is a state issue.
It is, yes.
Right, it's,
Yep.
well, and it's fully on state property, so
Yeah.
it's not on the abutter's property.
Right.
It's outside of the abutter's property, even if that curb cut were to, the radii were to get
I
bigger.
understand that, yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Anybody else out there?
anybody here who would like to speak?
And lighting also,
Sure.
Lighting is a question. I mean, if there are going to be employees on the site, that's where I would say there should be lighting. And I don't know what the hours of operation
as
are.
long
That
as
would
it's
be
not
another
shining
question.
into my, you
And it
know what I
should
mean?
not be, should not be, it
That's-
should be
that's
dark
all I ask,
sky.
yeah.
And so there are a whole bunch of things like that that we will be diving into.
These guys aren't operating in the dark. They're operating after 7. They leave the lot at 7:30. It's a couple of guys. We're a smaller business. Yes, we plan to grow, but as we grow, we plan to move into bigger, something that suits
Yeah,
us
well,
better.
So those are all the things that we can, once we know what the waivers are, that will help us figure out, what it is you're trying to do to minimize how much
Right.
the site gets
And
developed.
and frankly, whether we approve the waivers, because it's not automatic that
not
when
a
you
given.
request a waiver, that it will be granted. So we will look at each one, analyze it on its own merits, and with any concerns we might have. So that's very helpful to us.
And if I can say, I've owned the property for a year, and my equipment is about the same size as Ron's.
Maybe
I've
even
had
bigger.
no problems going back and forth, in and out of the property. It's half the size of Ross's 18-wheeler, everything I own as well. So there's no problem getting in and out of the property. You go in the property, you turn around, and you come out. It's
And to answer his question also for Mr. McKee is, these are two separate companies. I mean, these are two separate locations. This is mainly for the location, for landscaping, for me to live there, have a few trucks out back, have a toolbox in the garage, a place that we can run into if it's pouring and we gotta get out of, you know what I mean? This is just to have a home base. This isn't to have the public coming in, going over blueprints, checking things out, walking the yard, looking at mulches and stones, none of that. This is all just a location just for me, my couple guys, to store our belongings, and a couple of trucks and trailers. There's not gonna be dumpsters unless it is the winter, then there may be a few dumpsters there from the overflow lot, but they're never full. Everything goes right from the customers, right to the dump, then it goes to the next customer. These dumpsters are rarely even sitting at our own lot that I have for these dumpsters. So they would never even be at the location, like I said, unless it was the winter, it was snowy, and there was a few dumpsters sitting around. But
So
this is for two different
understanding
businesses.
that and understanding what you're trying to not do that's part of the rules and regulations is going to be helpful to us in putting together those conditions, which will protect you, as well as
As the citizens.
dot the i's and cross the t's of doing what the town has asked us to do.
Yep.
So that, you
I
can
just wanted
say,
to answer
I'm
his
allowed to
question."
do this because it says so right here.
Okay.
So we've got more review to do. Let's start with the list of waivers. That can then go to our
53G.
engineering consultant to review
Yeah.
and review the project, the proposed project, and we'll go from
And Josh,
there.
have they, have you talked about 53G with them? Have they made a deposit yet on that? Okay, so you should get with our planning director who can walk you through that as well.
And,
I mean, this is basically a pre-existing non-conforming lot. It's been that way for 40 years.
Understood.
I don't even see why we're here, honestly, because all I did was clean it up. It's been there forever, the same way, and I cleaned it up.
well, we've got rules and regulations and zoning bylaws and all of that our charge is to toe the line to those rules and regulations and zoning bylaws. And so that's what
For
we're
your
doing.
benefit and for abutters and, the local neighborhood. That's one of the things that planning board is charged with, is protecting the
Is
use of land.
following what is
Yep.
put before us as far as those documents. And
Making motion to continue the hearing.
so we need to confer with the applicant about what date would work for them. So we've got a 53G account to,
Fund.
waivers to be submitted, 53G account to be funded, and a review to be done by our engineers. So we're looking at probably not the 8th, I would think. That's probably too quick for
June
all of that
22nd?
to happen. So June 22nd may be more reachable, if that's.
that okay with you
if that
guys?
works with you guys.
June 22nd?
Can we do it sooner?
I think that
It's up to,
we need the list of waivers and,
yeah.
First.
Just an opinion, Madam Chair, I think June, the first meeting in June would just be too soon to get the waivers, to set up the accounts, et cetera.
Okay.
yeah.
If they wanted to push for it and got everything done very, very quickly, we will accommodate it.
push
But
for
I don't think that would work,
Yeah,
honestly.
okay, all right,
Call
so.
it the 22nd?
The 22nd of June then, sounds like is the first available. Will that work for you?
Yeah, we can definitely be ready.
Okay,
I'd rather push for the first one, but
I need a second.
yes. We need a
Second.
Second
Yeah.
to continue to
I
then.
think June 22nd
Yep.
is reasonable.
Yep.
Give everyone time to review everything for
And
you
we'll-
in advance of that meeting.
We'll take a vote. All in favor, Carl?
Aye.
Julie Marie and I,
Sam Corbett, aye.
And Jane Gleason, aye. So we will see you on the 22nd. And in the meantime, get those waivers to
planning
the
office.
planning office.
Okay, thank you.
And-
Appreciate your time.
Thanks so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you.
All right.
And the next item on the agenda, thank you for being patient.
Last but not least,
Yeah, sure.
please.
So the next item on the agenda is Judy Barrett from the Barrett Planning Group to present upcoming bylaw revisions to the planning board. How are you? Good evening.
Ed,
We are as well as
can be expected.
expected under the circumstances.
So, I have made some edits to this since the last version that I gave you to the committee a week ago. And I'm still working away at this. I mean, I think, I moved the administration and enforcement up front, as we had discussed, but then I had to do an awful lot of cross-reference corrections. and
Sorry.
I think I caught, no, it's fine, it's your bylaw.
Can I, Judy, before you start, we've got one member of the public.
Oh, sorry.
We have one of our planning board members, Carl Schultz, and Sam, who haven't been at our meetings. Could you just give a quick overview of
What you asked
the
me to do?
mission, yes, and how you've approached it,
Sure.
and how you intend to present it to the public
Yes.
at such time? I think that would be helpful to our other
Not a
members.
problem at all. So
Thank you.
the town asked me to help rewrite and update the zoning bylaw. And these projects can be more or less difficult, depending upon the condition of the current zoning.
More.
This one has been interesting, and I still actually have some questions about how some things work here, so I can make sure I accurately represent what you're doing. But the goal here is a bylaw that is clearer to read and understand, easier to follow. You can find things more easily in this. And hopefully be able to make maybe some substantive changes that the board or the committee, whoever is guiding the process would like to see. But I think, and I want to get there for you, but I think we have to make sure this cleanup works first. Because what I don't want to do is add some really cool ideas to the bylaw as it exists right now, because it's just too hard to work with. So what you have right now is an attempt to kind of rewrite, reorganize, and make easier to work with, for the most part, what you have now. Now, there are a few changes I want to just alert you to from the last version that you saw. But my scope is basically to help you end up with a bylaw that's easier to work with and has some best practices kind of ideas in it. That's the scope. The version, I had submitted a version a week ago, which was very draft. And there were some things that I wanted to fix in it, and there were also things that you had asked me to work on. One of which was to relocate administration. So it's up front, it's section 3 now. And I believe I've caught most of the cross-reference changes that needed to be made. There are still 3 or 4 pieces in here, cross-references to your existing zoning that we cannot find. So I've tried to flag all of those for you and say, somebody needs to tell me what to do, because I think we've kind of beaten this as far as we can.
Sure.
So you'll see footnotes in here. Another thing that I changed is under land use permitting, this does not say that someone has to get a denial letter before they can apply for a special permit or variance or site plan review. This lays out, here's what you have to do when you apply for a special permit, when you apply for site plan review, when you need a variance. And there's nothing in the statute that really prevents an applicant from doing what the statute allows, which is to file an application with the town clerk. Yes, there is this risk that someone ends up in front of a permitting authority where they don't belong. But people can always be encouraged to go and talk to the building inspector, who really is the ultimate, authority for interpreting and enforcing the bylaw. They can be encouraged to do that, and they should do that. And most people, I think, will have the brains to do that. They could talk to Josh. But it's really on the applicant to know what to do. But the bylaw needs to be clear for them to figure that out.
There, bingo.
Yeah, so that piece is gone, and I'm happy to take direction from any of you on how to deal with that. The other thing I did that really is, I think, significant is you have a provision in your bylaw right now called local action units. And it is so not right. I just can't even go there. So I have changed that section to a more conventional inclusionary housing bylaw that triggers at X number of units, requires X percentage of units. It's just where the local action units piece used to be, and it is actually, I can just tell you, it is now section 9.3. So you're going to take a look at that and let me know if you're okay with it. But it's pretty standard provision for including affordable housing. 9.3.
9.3.
The one thing I'm still perplexed about in your zoning is how the whole design review piece works. When I read the zoning bylaw, it sounds like the first thing someone is submitting to a permitting authority is the design parameters, the architecturals, the open space. Am I right? Because that's kind of how it sounds. Walk me through how design review works here.
It doesn't.
It's a relatively new concept.
Well, I think it's actually been around except for the WVWAR
Yes.
one.
Okay.
Where we fleshed it out,
Right,
actually.
that was
Right.
the one that got fleshed out, and I haven't been able to find that document except in my files where I wrote it.
Because I think everything you're asking for.
What's in the bylaws, I don't know that it's ever really been employed.
Okay, because the design process that's laid out in your zoning right now in terms of the things that have to be submitted, in my world, those would simply be submitted as part of the application for site plan review or the application to the special permit granting authority. The part of the submission requirements are just, you have to have these things that are part of the design process in addition to, the engineering drawing for the site plan and so forth. So I'd like to just make sure that what we end up in the end for so-called section 3.3.3 actually reflects what's either going on or what you want to happen. Because I think these submission requirements are all kind of fine, but they need to be tied to some process.
So you're not saying that we shouldn't think about, consider design
Oh, I'm
as
not saying
part of
that
it.
at all.
Right, but we need to incorporate it at the front end as part of the application
Well, so
process.
this is something,
Madam
design
Chair?
review is something that I've been
Carlos.
looking at for years. We did some design guidelines way back in my office, back in the 90s.
Yep.
And so it's a topic of conversation that I've been having with my colleagues for years.
Yep.
And how to make the best ones and the most applicable ones and the most usable ones and all that. And drawing from all those conversations, we did this WVR1 overlay district in the Wareham Village for
Yep.
redevelopment. And Ken Buckland started the design review guidelines, and I took them and fleshed them out further. And
Yeah.
I would love to have you put your eyes on them and see if I've actually gleaned something useful over all those years of pondering how to make them useful.
See, I think some of,
Madam Chair?
Oh,
Yes,
I'm
Carl,
sorry.
yeah.
Sorry.
Yes, through you to Ms. Barrett. I'm going to simplify it down to one thing. Why we took all the time to put that in there is because we're constantly applications that are incomplete and incomprehensible. This is even pared back to what I had tried to write. I wanted tabbed sections, I wanted indexes, I wanted to be able to pick up an application and read it front to back. We get it, it comes in piecemeal, it comes in as it comes in, and I'm not throwing stones at anybody. We're a small town,
Yeah.
limited staff. The clerk gets it, the clerk stamps it, the clerk doesn't review it for completeness.
right, right.
And as you may have heard, you should come to some of our meetings, and
She just did.
She just sat through.
This was an interesting one,
Yeah.
to say the least.
Yeah, two
Yeah.
projects that were
Yeah.
very.
Problematic, yeah. Crazy.
See, I don't think anything you ask for in your design process, the submission requirements is what I'm talking about right
Right.
now. You know, proposed buildings, topography, location of drives, parking areas, proposed landscaping, all that stuff is pretty standard.
Yeah.
I don't see anything wrong with what you're asking for. So let's separate that from the design guidelines. Let's just say we have a site plan application process and we want to get certain things in the site plan. But in addition, we also want you to be thinking as you design your site plan about these principles that are important to the town. And so I would say all this really belongs in the site plan or the special permit submission. It's just, it doesn't really read that way right now. And so I can just tell you, based on your direction tonight, that's part of what is in here right now. It was probably going to change a little bit because I want to tie this to the actual application procedures you follow. So an applicant who's going to apply for site plan review knows, okay, I have to do X, Y, and Z, but I also have to do these things. Now, to complicate things even further, you don't need half of what's in this zoning bylaw to be in the bylaw. It really should be in planning board rules and regulations. So what belongs in the bylaw is process. Planning board will hold a public meeting on a site plan within so many days of receiving it. The board will render a decision within 90 days of the date of receipt of the application, receipt of a complete application.
Right.
That process and how appeal is handled. But the submission requirements, the bylaw needs to simply clarify that the board has the authority to adopt those as part of rules and regulations. And so the bylaw, instead of listing all this stuff, could just simply say, submission requirements and procedures shall follow the planning board's rules and regulations, a piece of which will include the design submission. That takes like 6 pages out of this document.
Sure. Well, and I
We've been
think,
trying to do that for the last 4 years.
Well, I'm here. I mean,
yeah,
I'm more than happy to take this content and put it into a package of rules and regulations for the board.
oh, we can do that.
We
can do
and
that.
we've got like 3 different rules and
Oh,
regulations
just give them to me. Just
right
don't.
now. And,
Give them to me.
and I would love to see all of those rules and regulations put in one, even if they're different sections, that's fine.
Well, the
But-
zoning rules and regulations are going to be different from subdivision. Separate those out. I don't even want to talk about subdivision rules and regulations. Does not belong in this conversation.
Well, the
Anything
ZBA
pertaining-
does not have any rules and regulations.
The ZBA is required by law to have
No.
rules and regulations. But really, a special permit granting authority is as well. So if you are granting special permits, you need to have rules and regulations. So all I'm saying is this bylaw could be simplified
Sure.
by putting your submission requirements for site plan, special permit, and design all into rules and regulations. And we just need to make sure the bylaw provides authority for you to do that and ties the decision criteria back to things that are in the design principles, if you will. So that kind of part of section 3, I'd really love to work on more, but I didn't want to go too far from what the bylaw says right now, except it just didn't make any sense to me. But
Well, and one of the things that Carl knows, those of us that were working on some of these sections, Jane as well, is the whole concept of a complete application.
yes.
And we really wanted to make it broader versus narrow, because we were, struggling with people that would appear, and good example, our friends here who came without waivers. But we felt it would really help the planning office if we had this process with a checklist. And some of the checklists are outdated, but I think we could work again on this complete application checklist and incorporate all of what Judy's talking about, and then move it into the rules and regulations as well, as an appendix or something.
Where it gets tricky.
Because then you can change.
Madam Chair,
Yeah.
I wanted to support Ms. Moran and use her example. The application process right now has the applicant go down and check those boxes that says not applicable. The design review process, we wanted somebody to actually, before we got it, say, no, you're wrong, it is applicable. They just check the box and says not applicable, and it comes to us.
Okay, so the problem is that by law, they can file a special permit application with the town clerk. The statute provides for that. So once that clocks in with the town
Yeah,
clerk,
that's right.
the whole statutory scheme, starts in. So when you open your public hearing, between the day that you get the application and 65 days later, you know, Josh or whomever can be working with the applicant to get the application up to snuff. But let's say you get to the hearing date and the application's still incomplete. I mean, if the ball is then in your court, you either say to the applicant, this is an incomplete application, you know, we have a basis to deny it, or we can continue to date certain and you give us the missing pieces. I mean, you could do that. But you don't have to take an incomplete application. You know, on the same token, and I'm sure you do this anyway, the board has to be a little bit reasonable about the expectations of a small project versus a large one.
Yeah, I mean, I think
So
that's
a
pretty much
question,
what we're
Madam
doing.
Chair, a question on that. Because we can't deny a site plan review, what do we do with an incomplete site plan review application?
You end up imposing conditions on your approval that lists a zillion things the building inspector has to get in order to issue a building permit. And then it falls to the building inspector to,
Yeah,
administer and
that ain't
enforce
gonna
that
happen.
decision.
Hopefully, it's not deemed as being conditioned out of existence by doing that.
Well, yeah, I mean, like I said, it's, sophisticated applicants know how to put together a complete application.
Yeah,
But the small projects, you know, you do have to think about as a board,
yeah, and how to work with people.
how do we work with people? And you also, you know, certainly not for variances, but even for a special, it's harder for special permits, but with site plan, there's no reason why an applicant can't come in and have an informal discussion with the board.
Well, and our bylaw, relative to design guidelines, we actually discuss in the bylaw, we encourage the applicant to meet with the planning office.
Yeah.
We put that in because, just as Josh knows and Ken before him, they would just bypass planning office and just show up, so, here, before us.
Yeah, I think that was the whole point of the denial letter thing, was that there was a first level of filtering,
Right.
and maybe providing direction to potential applicants of why they have to come before us. That the building commissioner would provide them with that information.
So we just need to make sure in the decision criteria for site plan review and special permits that we account for some type of a completeness determination.
Okay.
I need to think about that a little bit more, but I get what you're saying, and you're not the only town that goes through
Yeah.
this getting incomplete applications. It drives boards crazy.
Yeah.
And I think to my mind, one of the first things that we should state, you read the notice, is that the board confirms that the application submitted is complete in compliance with the rules and regulations, a statement to that effect. And if it isn't complete, then if our zoning bylaw says, once a hearing, a application is deemed complete, we schedule the hearing.
I don't think, you can't do that with
Yeah.
special permits,
I know,
because they
you
can
can't.
file with the town clerk.
Yeah, you have to,
That
and
would
that's
have
why
to just
we,
continue them if it's not
but
complete.
that's why we
or-
had, go to the planning board, meet with the planning board, or the planning office, so we don't get into that situation.
I understand, and I mean, you can certainly encourage people.
Yeah,
You can't
right.
require them.
I know,
You really can't. So you try to encourage it, and
yeah,
all I'm saying is that if someone ends up filing what, to your point of view, is an incomplete submission, the ball is then in your court as a board at
Just
the
to
opening of the
condition it.
hearing to say, this is an incomplete application. These are things that we would have to have in order to render a decision here. So we can do a couple of things. We either continue to a date certain and you give us what we need, or we simply deny, and we could deny, without prejudice or something. Or you can withdraw without prejudice and come
Right.
back.
Right.
yeah,
I mean, that puts the ball back in the applicant's court.
right, right.
May make
It
you feel
will-
like the heavy, but
Well, we'll feel a little less like the heavy once our bylaws are in good shape and there's less excuse for them to say, I didn't know what was supposed to go in the application. So
Yeah.
I think those two things are kind of working hand in hand, that a better bylaw is going to make the application preparation
yeah.
more straightforward.
Okay, so aside from anything else you may want me to change, I think I really want to dig back into this whole, how does the permitting process work here, just to make sure this is clear. Because I really wasn't clear how the design review piece worked based on my reading of the existing zoning. I think I have a better sense now. And really, even without the design guidelines, the principles that are stated in your zoning bylaw are actually quite nice. So you have room here in kind of thinking about how the decision criteria are written to be able to communicate what you're looking for,
Yeah.
even without the design guidelines.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's good.
Yeah.
One good point.
So my head now is on the table of uses, which really has been a challenge because we just, we already discussed, you have too many districts in this town, and I don't think we're going to end up solving that problem as part of this project, but
No.
it really does create a challenge as to how you create a table of uses. You just can't do one. You end up having to do a couple just to make it actually readable on a piece of paper.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's where I am right now. But I would say, you know, any comments you have on this is fine. Just know when you get to section 3, which is administration and enforcement, I'm going to be doing more work. I'm not saying you shouldn't give me comments on what you have in front of you.
Sure.
But I am going to work on that more.
So is there a new draft that's come out?
Yeah, I just gave it
Yeah,
to Josh.
she-
this
Okay.
You got it,
Or-
all
Forwarded
right.
to you this afternoon.
You did.
Okay.
yes.
afternoon. Sorry.
That's okay.
Sorry. Yes, it
So-
has a
Yeah.
May 18th date on it.
Okay,
okay.
so I'll work on comments
Sorry.
on that one. I was sort of
Yeah.
holding off because I knew there was a new one coming and.
Yeah, it's fine. One comment I want to make too is just the style of reference within the document. So the way this document is written, a reference to this bylaw capitalized, is this zoning bylaw. And I've tried to clarify that right up front in section 1. Any section that is referring to itself refers to that section by number. So section 8.5, if there's a reference somewhere in there to the requirements of section 8.5, it's going to say this section 8.5. Any reference to any other bylaws is simply going to be the Wareham Town bylaws.
Sure,
And I think that kind of makes it cleaner.
Yeah, separates the two
yeah, that's fine.
and makes it so
Yeah.
you don't have to write out Wareham zoning bylaw every time.
Right, all the time, exactly, right. So
Yes.
that's kind of the convention that, and it's pretty standard.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, gosh. I mean, I guess I'm really not sure what else to tell you at this point, other than I want to work on that. That permitting section needs to be cleaned up. It could be so much easier to understand. But if you give me the rules and regulations in Word, what I can do for you as part of this, because I'm already going to be playing with the text anyway, is make sure the rules and regulations are administratively in sync with this.
right.
And all your checklists, submission checklists and so forth should be there. It doesn't have to be in the bylaw. You're going to take probably 20 pages out of this document,
Good,
which
That
would
would
be
be
good.
awesome.
yes,
That would be awesome.
yeah.
What else can I do for you tonight?
Yeah, I think
You
that,
saw a great example tonight.
Pardon me?
So you saw a great example.
Yeah, you saw. a
That was
couple of-
tough. I couldn't
confusion.
quite figure out what the story was there. People just didn't understand what they had to do to get approval.
and that had
Well,
expired,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah. The one before was an expired subdivision, and
Because of
they
state
came
action.
before us before to ask for an extension, and we couldn't grant it because there was no longer any approval.
That expired.
It had expired.
Oh, Lord. Oh, yeah, right.
And
Can't
a-
resuscitate a dead permit, right?
Yeah.
Right, exactly. So they had to come back, and it turned out that the subdivision,
Is it
the
subdivision?
parcels or the lots in the subdivision had been distributed to,
Conveyed.
conveyed,
Transferred to
conveyed to family members
Not
and
unusual
a
in this
non-family
town.
member.
Where you have a family owning a lot of land, and then they're dividing it
Before
among
the subdivision
the heirs.
stuff was done,
Yeah.
which usually has to be done before
Yeah.
they can be released to sell the lots.
How
So
did they end up with lots they could convey?
Because they just did
all family.
deeds.
it was,
Oh,
it was
One cousin,
family,
one-
it was family members and one outsider, and it was the outsider who had purchased a lot,
This lady who
who
was,
was trying to
right.
build on it, but the subdivision, I mean, it's,
Well, and these deeds have a disclaimer that says, in drafting this deed, I did not run title, and that's the problem. So you see that a lot. So,
Wow.
yeah,
Well, I had a long discussion with Ms. May, a couple days ago, on a different parcel that's going to cousins.
Yeah.
And I said, is an attorney involved? Is a realtor involved? Did you record them? And she wasn't
That's
sure.
sad.
It was
a
really
lot of that in this
complicated, and there
town.
was also a communication
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
difficulty.
Right.
That just made it more complicated.
Well, and
So,
and so many people say, it's my land, why do I need to appeal?
yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
It's tough, you know.
still
Especially when you
hear
give
that.
it to one sister, one brother,
Yeah, I
one
know, I
cousin,
know.
this parcel and all the parcels around it
It's,
go to different people.
it's very much
all family, pretty
a
much.
typical Wareham.
Except
I'm
for the
finding.
one that belonged to the
Yeah,
applicant.
Yeah, I know, so.
It wasn't-
They may not even,
What?
What, Carl?
they may not even have proper title.
I know.
I
Yeah.
don't understand how they were able to convey, I just don't get it, like,
They just because the registry never looks at the deed, they just recorded it. That's the
dear
problem.
God.
But this happens a lot,
Yeah.
With an all meets
It's
in-
happened with this
And I bet with an
family
all meets and bound
more
description.
than once.
Anyway, it's our life.
So complicated. Sorry we were late, that was why.
No, it's all right, it was, I knew you had business to do, I wasn't complaining. It was- I
Yeah,
was
we
worried I
just
was
had,
gonna
we
be
just
late,
had
but-
2 projects before you came in, and I thought, well, maybe we'll get through these, and ha, ha, ha.
Ha ha ha, like John said. The small ones sometimes turn out to be the largest ones.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They were both complicated.
We had talked about having a meeting in June.
Yeah, Josh has got all the dates down. It's
Okay.
like,
Judy and I have spoke. We have a number of meetings that we're gonna have.
Okay.
It's almost one a week,
Okay.
so.
Okay.
June is brutal.
You can share with us at
Yeah.
some point.
Yeah.
Okay.
You gave me an email, I think I put them all in my calendar, and we'll make sure I do, but yeah, you're basically gonna see a lot of me in
It's okay.
June, you poor
That's great.
souls.
We're looking forward to it.
Yes,
Actually.
yes. Well,
Well, this is fun. I mean, I love to clean up bylaws and make
Well,
them
and
functional.
I can't tell you how happy I
may have-
am.
We'd love to have you
You may
clean
have
them up.
met your match.
Yeah, but I think really as part of all this, I should take a look at the rules and regs, because you really should be able to rely on those. You don't want to have to go to town meeting to change the submission requirements for site plan review. It really should just be administrative.
And I think Carl and I, a group of us who worked on the rules and regs before us and after us, others did, could use some work too.
Yeah.
But our thought is that once we get the bylaws, then we bump it up against the rules and regs and make sure that we're covering everything.
So I agree with
What it-
you. The
yeah.
bylaws do come first. However, I don't want to see you end up at a town meeting where you've got this bylaw and a bunch of stuff just to the innocent observer is missing.
Yes, right.
And you
agreed.
say, well, we're putting all this in rules and regulations. And they say, well, where are the rules and regulations? So I just
Right.
don't want to leave you in a position where you
Thank
get
you.
caught in that.
Right.
That's very much appreciated.
That is
no
very
problem.
much appreciated.
Not a problem.
Yeah,
What else can I do for you this evening?
that's it, I think.
That's it.
I think we're
Is it
good.
always this hot in here?
Well, we turned off the air conditioning
they-
because
Because you couldn't hear?
well, they had
I
they
did.
had a device that they could transcribe as it was in real time.
Right.
They were
And
deaf.
at first, they couldn't hear Carl because the air conditioners
see.
were
I get it.
masking his.
Yep, I get it.
Yeah, so, yeah.
So sorry.
generally it's-
No, it's all right.
Yeah.
That made it more fun.
Okay.
Jane, anything else?
I think we do have 2 things that we need to do, but we could let you go.
Yeah.
I can go.
Carl,
Yeah.
anything else to ask Judy while she's here?
She defined parcel.
Lot and parcel, those are
Yeah.
the 2.
Yeah, that's right. You did ask me to do that.
Yeah, lot and parcel
Yeah.
are just such a.
Yeah, I will make sure there are definitions in here.
You need a definition of what both are,
I know.
Yes, you're correct.
definitively,
Yes, you are correct.
and they don't cross over.
Yep.
And then, well, that doesn't still solve my problem with the A&R law, which doesn't mention parcel at all, and
Yeah.
all the A&Rs come in and talk about parcels.
I agree,
Well,
Carl.
except that isn't there language in the ADU requirements that say that they have to be, well, they're accessory dwelling units. They have to be accessory to
To a-
something.
to a
principal
primary-
use. To a principal use.
Primary residence,
Yeah.
or, right, a
Single
principal.
family. It's got to be actually a single family, not a
No,
two-family.
it does not.
It does not.
No, I think it's
It
It
says,
just has to be located in a zoning district that allows single-family
Single
residence
family,
by
okay.
right.
but then you
Gotcha,
have to look
gotcha.
at the definition of single-family in the
Yeah.
state regulations.
Yeah.
It's any building with at least one unit.
one unit.
So you could have a mixed-use building.
Can't just go on a
Wow.
lot by itself, Carl.
We know that, right?
It's a mess.
Yeah,
He's
It's a
shaking his
mess.
head no.
All right. Do you need anything else from me tonight?
no.
I think we're good. And Phil, you could go too if you want.
I love hearing Judy talk.
We do too.
What do you got left?
We've got a couple of decisions that need to be signed.
Signed, yes.
Or a couple or multiple, whatever, couple
Yeah.
or four.
Do we need a motion to approve these decisions? No, they're already approved.
All right, well, I can't sign anything, so I'm going to drop off.
Okay.
Okay. Safe driving,
I hope
whatever
that
state you're in
somewhere
right
where the
now.
Time zone makes it earlier.
Whatever state you're in, safe
I'm
travels.
in Pennsylvania about, I could throw a stone and hit Ohio, so.
Ah,
Okay.
But I'm turning south, I'm heading towards St. Louis.
oh, nice.
Well, thank you very much for joining us.
Yes, appreciate it. As
And-
usual.
and I'm sorry, I told you, I'm just going to focus on process.
Yes. You're
awesome.
fine. You're fine. No,
And I so bad wanted to throttle that gentleman when he kept saying, nobody told me.
I know, I know,
You're responsible.
I know.
yeah,
Throttle is too strong a word,
I
I'm
know,
sorry.
but, yeah. Shake.
As if it was our fault, but it's not.
Yeah, everybody keeps saying, well, you didn't tell me.
I know. I know.
We don't have the ability to do that.
Yeah, yep.
Yes.
Well,
It's so frustrating. And that,
Was he an attorney?
which
No.
project?
I don't believe so.
All right, yeah.
Which project?
We're still in session.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Okay. Have a good
See
evening.
you later, alligator.
Thank you.
You don't need to still be in session.
Yeah, we can make a motion.
We can make a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All in favor?
I
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, aye, aye.
Aye, aye, aye. We're done.